That's good. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, may I have your attention, please? I always like to start with that question. It's one of the things we lack most in the world. I believe one of the biggest resources we're going to have is your ability to have attention and focus on things. Anyway, my name's Brock Bowen, also known as the Laughtarian, and today I'm here with a friend of mine, Christy Andronicus, and we have phone calls and we have catch-ups on Facebook and vibe with each other, but I thought it'd be fun to bring her on and have a conversation because I like to talk to my friends and it's fun to add value to your life. So yeah, grab a cup of tea, jump all the way to the end. And today we want to talk a lot about, parenting, being a mum, being a dad, all that sort of stuff. But Christy, where are you today?
I'm planet Earth.
Boom.
Yeah. A conscious human here in planet Earth. Yeah, no, I'm in Sydney.
Awesome.
Yeah, after this I'll be doing the school pickup and getting kids from, well, now mine are a bit older now, so they take care of themselves, but getting a little one from daycare. But yeah, I'm here in Sydney doing my thing. Yeah, love speaking to you and love speaking to you, Brock, and watching your and Christy's beautiful journey. The greatest love story was amazing. And then to see that you're having a baby, it's like, yay.
Oh, so blessed. It was good to have Christy on before, just like to have a quick chat with her and show off the bump and everything. And yeah, we were just talking about that before, guys. Literally I said I was going to have a baby. Made that decision the first time we decided we wanted to, we conceived, which was cool. A lot of people having challenges with that. We did a lot of the preparation work. So I've been doing a lot of stuff around health protocols. So was Christy. And then when we were in Europe, quite relaxed on an island called Ischia in Italy, I'm like, baby, is it time? And she's like, yep, cool. And now we're having a beautiful baby, also due on the 5th of the 5th. So it could be next week and it could be 7 weeks away. We'll see.
That's right. That's right. They come in their own time. They're on their own journey, that's for sure.
And it's fun too because essentially I've left it a little bit later. You started at 22. I'm starting at 38. And
it's perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect. Just it feels timely. I'm really excited about it. But I want to talk a bit about being a parent. Yeah. I know you can talk about all kinds of things. You've been in the self-help personal development spectrum for a little while. But today I want to theme around parenting because I speak to a lot of mums. And it's just good to know, for the mums, for the dads out there, you want to do these different decisions. You want to really be the best that you can for your kids and for yourself.
Absolutely.
I want to talk about what was it like having a kid at 22?
Well, it was a surprise.
Oh, awesome.
So I had it on my vision board for like 10 years time and it just came a bit early. So at the time my the girl's dad and I had been together for 6 months and I'd started my coaching business in 1998. And so I was pregnant with Chloe in February 14th, 2000. So I'd had so we'd been together for only 6 months before I was pregnant with Chloe. And awesome. So we decided like in 24 hours that we were getting married, we were having a baby and that we were living happily ever after. And so it was a big decision to make. I remember coming home to my mum and saying, hi mum, I'm pregnant. Like my parents are really supportive and very, they've brought both my sister and I up to be free spirits and to, they're, so when my mum just looked at me and she goes, you're what? And I'm like, I'm pregnant. She goes, what? And I'm like, yep, Mum, I'm pregnant. And she goes, but you've got this great business and you're doing so well. How are you going to fit it all in? And I'm like, yep, Mum, I am. And she's like, okay then.
Perfect.
She goes, I'm too young to be a grandma. You can't call me grandma. Can you call me something else? Like, I'm too young. So my mum was older when she had my sister and I. She was in that generation. She was 28 when she had or 30 when she had my sister and 32 or something when she had me. So that was older back then. But she was definitely, Yeah, but it's just been, they're just the best thing. They bring families together, and, you know, they give your parents, like my parents, that they make everybody younger.
Yeah.
They're just a miracle. They're just a miracle. They're the best thing in the world. And whether you have your own, or whether you enjoy someone else's, or whether you're a step parent or a foster parent, or you adopt them, or you just have them in your life, however you can have them in your life is perfect, you know.
That's what I'm excited about too, because Christy, I left my business 5 and a bit years ago in Sydney, and I moved up to Cairns. Now we're on the Sunshine Coast. And for the last 5 years, we've traveled about 4 months a year. And I think this year we want to be quite grounded here, like have that little bit of stability. Just live in one place for a year or 2 or 3, whatever it is. But still, I've got a couple of trips planned. I've got the retreats and different things. But that's been a bit of an evolution for me now, looking at, well, how do I design my life around wanting to maximize my lifestyle? Make the biggest contribution that I can, and also make like the lifestyle the best ever for the family.
And how to mix those two together. Well, the thing is that I really didn't. Well, you learn there's that whole part where you know what you know in life, and you know what you don't know, and then you get into the whole part of what you don't know, and that's where the trouble lies. But I think that's where the beauty lies, because in that, what you don't know is where the magic can happen, because you continue to make choices that are probably a little bit outrageous, limitless. They're, you know, outside of your comfort zone. They don't necessarily make sense, and they push you to do things in a different way. But unless you do that stuff, you don't actually really realize the extent of what you can actually do. So I think that there's a beauty in, you know, when you're a parent for the first time, because you don't know what you're going into, and you don't, you know, have the handbrake on, so to speak. So I just went into it thinking I wanted to be a stay-at-home mum for a year. So I wanted to set up my business, so I had other people taking care of my coaching business. And then one of the people that were working for me at the time, he was one of my best friends as well, and he came to me when I was pregnant. He goes, "Oh, Christy, I've been thinking about this for a long time. I really want to go and do this other work, and I know it's a really bad time to leave you in this position." And I'm like, no, you totally go and do what you have to do. Like I totally support you. And I'm like, oh shit. And then I had another, I had a few people working with me for me at the time. And then when Chloe was probably 5 months old, I needed to go back into the business, because those people that were working with me were off doing other things, and it wasn't necessarily working as well without me in it. And I was devastated. I'm like, I wanted to stay home for a year and just be a mum. And so Pete, my first husband, he, because like I'm on a roll with husbands.
How many up to now? 2 or 3?
Yeah, just 2. Two ex-husbands at the moment. Oh dear. So I've got lots of knowledge. Yeah. You know, like if what's the old saying? Like, to be wise and old, we had to be once you know, stupid and naive and make lots of mistakes. Well, I've certainly you know, that still continues, and then I have this other wisdom. But so my first husband, he was working at the time, so he would like leave at 7 o'clock in the morning and come back at 7 o'clock at night, and so I had to go back into my business, and so I'm breastfeeding, and I couldn't express, and it just didn't work for me. Well, I tried, but I just didn't have a lot of milk, and I was hell-bent on being like a breastfeeder forever. And, you know, looking back, I was so pragmatic and just so, you know, there was one only truth, and that only truth was that I just had to be the perfect parent. And I was just neurotic, and it was so, I even drove myself completely bonkers, let alone anyone else. But anyway, but I think that happens. You've got to go through that process, and So I went back. So my mum was living. I was living at DY in Sydney, and my mum was living in Chatswood, and my office was at Crow's Nest, and so I would I thought I'll leave my daughter with my mum and she would take care of her. And mum's like, yeah, sure, it's no problem. And so I would drop her there, breastfeed her, go to work for a couple of hours, then drive back, give her lunchtime breastfeed, then drive back to work for a couple of hours, then go back and just go back and forth, and just made that work until we could get her onto a bottle eventually. And so you just do whatever, but I found that actually when I got back to work, I'm like, oh, wow. I'm actually quite enjoying being at work. Which was, I'm like, oh, I can eat food and I can have a cup of tea, and I love what I do. I love what I do for my work. So to be able to being working makes me a better mum, and being a mum makes me better at my work. So
I like that.
Yeah, so it's like my kids have grown up in seminar after seminar and retreat after retreat and meditation after meditation. They just have gone over the world doing whatever we're doing. They just have, they've just learnt this, been around this information their whole lives, and it's just, they just think it's their normal. They're normal, like I've seen you've been doing the whole ice thing, like sitting in ice, and we haven't.
Oh yeah, Wim Hof breathing in ice. So you do 30 quick breaths. About 7 rounds of that, then we go and jump in. 7 bags of ice with a bit of water.
Wow, that looks like full on. Yeah.
70 kilos of ice we found is the winning number.
Wow.
We've tried more. We tried a little bit less. But 70 kilos of ice in a tub is the magic number.
Wow. It looks, that looks really amazing, and very, you'd certainly have to move to a new level to be able to handle that kind of situation. And my kids just think that behavior is normal. Is what I'm trying to say. Like whether it be rebirthing or sweat lodges or, they just think it's normal, or breaking arrows in your neck, or, having hundreds of people in a seminar and everyone's doing board breaks, or walking on fire. Like my daughters walked on fire when they were like, I don't know, 5 and 7 or something. And
wow.
They did their first board break when they were, 3 and 7. And so they just think that's normal. So they've got a different they have a different consciousness, which they're just different humans. They're not better or worse, they're just different,
Sure.
And so that certainly is a wonderful thing. And then it's a you bring up conscious humans that make their own decisions, and that believe that they that understand that, we've taught them from a young age to be able to make their own decisions, and that they're their own person, and they create their own reality, and all of those things. And if they don't like a particular school that they're at, and they come home, and I know that when my oldest, when she was probably 13, she was not liking a beautiful private school here at Mossman in Balmoral. Not liking the school. And she said, Mum, it's just not the level of consciousness. I just don't like it. It's just, I don't like how it's run. And it's a beautiful school. And for my younger daughter, she needs that kind of school. It works for her. But for Chloe, it's just like, she's very self-motivated, doesn't need to be pushed. And when she came home and she said that, I'm like, what can you say to that? Like, she's just totally, it's like, what can you say? You can't say, well, change your consciousness. You're staying at school.
I want to go to work, so you guys can be there.
Yeah, I disagree with how I've actually brought you up now. I want to take that back. So it's like to, bring up these beautiful humans that are their own, they have their own values and their own beliefs, and you have to respect that. And it's just it's such an awesome journey. It's amazing. It's amazing. So how do you fit it in with work and everything? Is you just make it work as you go along. Like you have just like with I think I feel the best thing is that you just don't have any really strict plans.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have to be anywhere
Mm-hmm.
at a particular time, like if you're running your own business, it's wonderful. You can choose the time that you work. You can change around your appointments. If Christy's been up all night with the baby and she's just like absolutely beside herself, which happens to all of us.
Yeah.
And you just like, yeah, I need to stay home, take care of the baby. Christy needs to rest. And you can just clear your schedule so you can actually stay home, or, you know, if the baby gets sick or Christy gets sick, it just helps to have that kind of flexibility. And not everyone listening will have that kind of flexibility. So how do you actually do that with children? It's important to have your list of people that you can call for emergency babysitting and emergency situations. Like if you can't go to work, and just to have that, you know, not necessarily like the biggest thing that from coaching people for years and having run seminars and having mums come up to me going, oh, I'm having a baby, what do I do with work? And I'm going to go straight back to work. And it's like, just keep your options open. You never know. Like some women won't get back to work straight away, and that's totally fine. And then other women want to stay at home for longer than they thought. And so just to keep your options open, and just, so if you're actually employed in a job and you have to give them some kind of decision to say, well, could we, you know, just kind of see how it goes a little bit. And just keep your options open, I think is the best thing, because the baby's on their own little journey and you don't know how you're going to feel until you're in the situation. Really, everyone's really different.
And so I think about a lot of things, like even in terms of what we said before, you know, we planned we're going to have a child.
Yeah.
And, you know, made a few different things, decisions around our health and everything. We've been sleeping more. Christy helps me a bit on the business.
Yeah.
But she's also doing her own consulting and stuff at the moment. So she's got her own thing. I've been really loving it lately. The more that she goes along and progresses in this pregnancy, it's almost as if there's a different essence or power coming through her. And
totally,
there's a whole lot clearer on what works, what doesn't work. I can definitely dominate. It's easy for me just to go, let's do this. It's the best thing ever. It's a good skill set. But I also, like in a life partnership, I really want Christy to own her essence and her power of what she actually truly wants. Same as for our child. Even exploring that, looking at school, like I've been researching homeschooling.
Yeah.
I've been looking at different options, you know, seeing these families that travel around the world. I'm looking now, we're on the Sunshine Coast. I'm keeping an eye out. What we'd like is a retreat style property.
Yeah.
So that we've got a bit of land, not too far to go in, drive into town, go for a surf and everything, but growing the best food ever. I've been fortunate that some of my clients and friends fly in to come and see me. Even since we've been here in Sunshine Coast, they've flown into Brisbane or the Sunshine Coast. So I've been just redesigning life a little bit. And
that's the thing. Often people like we take for granted being in this industry that it's just like common knowledge, but often people set up their life around their work or their business, and they set up however their life can actually work around their PAYG work or their actual business. But the beauty in life is if you can really set up your life how you want it to be, and then you set up your business or your work, your job to fit in with your lifestyle. And that's what makes people happier effectively. And, you know, when I'm working, and I'm sure that you understand this too, when you're working with people too, you would get them to do the same, that it's important to set your life up exactly how you want it to be, and then add the business and the income generating strategies to support the lifestyle that you want to. And the redesigning your life to have children is a beautiful journey. Like right now you want to be near you make a decision, we're going to live near the closest hospital, live near the closest and the best hospital that we actually like, that feels right for us. And live near what you're saying, be close to it. You want to have a great property where it's close to the beach, where you can bring kids up, where you can teach them organic farming, and you can do homeschooling. And, you know, I know heaps of families that do homeschooling, and they travel down to the snow for the season. They come back up they go from the snow to the sunshine, from the surf to snowboarding, and then all over the world, and they homeschool their kids and have an amazing life. And then you've got other parents like me, and I'm quite I think I feel like I'm a spiritual person, but there's no way in the fuck in the world I could homeschool.
Yeah. It's so funny how we start using those labels like spiritual or consciousness. Then we have to define how we live our life. But I'm just all about, I just want to do what I want.
Exactly.
And then, yeah, ultimately create the life so we can. It's interesting too, like living here. We've been really fortunate. We're super close to the hospital.
Yeah.
And the hospital literally opened about, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago. And it's brand new. They made it like a little health retreat. It's really beautiful. Christy, she wants to do a home birth the next one. But feels more confident with this one. There's water birth. I was just mentioning too before we started as well, we're fortunate on that trip. The greatest love story ever told around the world. We met a guy from the farm who, if you guys research Inner May, I don't know what last name, Inner May Gaskin, there you go. And we met this guy, Francesco, in Italy. Out of all the different places we could choose, we chose this particular place, and we arrived there 2 hours before they have a once-a-year party. And this lovely guy, Francesco, he's probably about 70, and he had the long grey hair, looked like, just lived a wonderful life, a beautiful tan, happy man, really just genuine. And he had lived on the property and had 5 children there.
It's amazing. So amazing. I would love to, I so wanted to go and live on that property to have my 3rd child. But my second ex-husband, he wasn't too keen on that. It really did, but like everyone's got to be comfortable with the situation, and got to have shared values and all of that stuff, of course. And
let's talk about that right now. Let's touch on that too, because a lot of women right now, one of my clients at the moment, she's talking about stepping into your glow. It's for women between 45 and 55, and it's an amazing thing that she's doing. Just thought I'd give you a shout out, Nina, because I love you. And the thing is this, hey Nina, and I love all the clients. It's such a rewarding career. But with this thing, like a lot of mums are stepping into their essence or their glow or their power or empowerment, whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah.
And a lot of men are not the kind of men that are happy about that. And that's just an interesting way I can say now. It used to be that a lot of men are not happy about that, but I don't know. I speak to clients and they're men. Some are hit and miss. I tend to work with the woman in such a way that the man becomes all over it and he's so supportive. But a lot of times I see it too where women are stepping into their power, they're doing the most amazing things ever, and they want to make these clear decisions around different things, be it how they're going to parent, be it how they're going to immunize, all these different areas. But for women, you've been through it, 2 husbands, different relationships, I presume, in between and whatever else. And just staying in those choices of what your values are and honoring your children and doing the best that you can. So I think it's a good one to check in there.
Well, I think that it's a growing process. It's like we're not born this way. We grow into being who you are today as Brock and who I am today as Christy here on planet Earth, and we're not like born like with this, level of understanding and this level of experience. It comes over time, and the values, of course, with in relationships, you have to have your top 3 values need to be the same or similar. It helps to have a similar worldview. It helps to have a similar view as far as socioeconomics and how you want to run your life financially. It helps to have similar goals and aspirations of where you want to live and travel and stuff like that. And of course, like the big things like how you want to, religion and medical situations and how you're going to deal with all of that. And so all of those things are really, really important. But on the women stepping into their power, I think that, the overall thing is like if we were to say the blanket statement that most men are totally fine with it on the surface, I think most men are completely fine with it until it affects their relationship and until their relationship is totally turned upside down by their partner starting to go, you know what, I've lived a certain way, done everything for you, been the supporting partner, been the one that's, you know, and it doesn't necessarily need to be the female. It can be the one who is more dominant. So you can be more masculine and be the female, and be more feminine and be the male. So just, you know, the supporting partner. And when that dynamic changes, it can certainly bring an upset to the relationship. And you want to be in a, you know, and that's all part of relationships as well. You want to be in a position where you can look at it from a place of wisdom and understanding, and just understand that life is full of change, and there's nothing we can really, well, the only thing that we can rely on in life is that everything changes. And to be able to go through that process of change, and if you can't go through it on your own, to get some support or help, you know. Getting help, reaching out to a coach or a counselor or anyone that can help you through, you know, navigate that time, can be, you know, that can be relationship saving, or it can be relationship finishing, and it just helps you go through the process in less pain.
I like that. I do this idea with all the different people. I call it a power call. So you know how you and I have had conversations before. We go, let's jump on the phone for 5 minutes or 30 minutes. It usually ends up longer. That thing about actually being present and paying attention to people. If we did that as a community, it'd be amazing.
Absolutely. I think that I believe people are becoming more like
more
that.
And more. More and more. People really caring and having empathy for one another. I even see it. I remember up in Cairns, these two ladies, probably in about their 60s, and they're walking along the street. And I remember years ago, the movie The Secret and other things coming through. But these ladies in their 60s, they said something about the universe, or just it sounded as if they were using a coaching similar style question. And it's so cool. It's the new normal. It's amazing.
It is the new normal. It's totally the new normal. I tell you, when I first started out and I was talking like this, you know, anyone in this industry that's, you know, a bit older, when we first started out, when I would say I was a life coach, they'd go, "You're what?" Like, what is that?
What the hell is that?
Or I call it a success coach or whatever else. And they just go, "Is that like a sports coach?" And I'd be like, "No." And now it's like really popular and everyone loves to do it. And it's just, and it's evolved for me. But it's an amazing, I love that it's popular, and I love that it's popular culture, and I love that people are more aligned, like people are doing the work and seeking the work and wanting to have it be part of their life. And it's not something that is frowned upon or looked upon as something that's you'd need because something's wrong. It's like, if you do that work, then life happens and stuff happens, good and bad, all the time. Whereas if you do the work when life is good, then the difficult times become so much easier from being able to apply the work, from doing the work. It's like 100%. It's like you and Christy being healthy before you have kids. It's just an added massive bonus, you know. It's like, and then on the other side, another example would be if you get sick. If you're really, really healthy before you get sick, you're going to handle the sickness better. And I think people are becoming more aware that if you work on your inner life and your personal development and your, you know, who you are as a human being and your personal growth, then whatever happens in your life will be much easier to get through, and life will be richer because of it. So it's not like it's so much of a luxury anymore, or that only hippies or, you know, those 80s style people where everything was excess and you had to have, you know, millions of dollars and you know, excess everything. You know? It's like not for that, you know, the whole, it's not just for that anymore. It's really become a part of being a human being, which is really great. Like, it's taught in schools now. It's taught like meditation is taught in preschools now, and yoga.
And breathing. My friend and I catch up every Tuesday morning, Bodhi, him and his lady Kat. They go around to schools talking about breathing. They're on TV talking about breathing for kids. It's incredible.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. And it's a wonderful thing. That's just so... It's like mindfulness and positive psychology, and it's even, and really just looking at spirituality in a different way, and it's becoming mainstream, and that's really wonderful, because it's not something that, you know, I think a lot of people for a long time were kind of spiritually orphaned. They had nowhere to, there was not necessarily, you know, you had to go to a seminar, or you had to either go to church or to a seminar, or have some kind of faith or ritual of your own that you were brought up with, that you could participate in to connect or feel connected. And now it's just all over Facebook, it's all over social media, you have so many options to be able to choose to participate in some kind of ritual or daily devotion to improve your life. And that's just it's in schools, and it's just a wonderful time. It's like, and then 10 years more, it's going to be even better. So
that's what I'm so excited about. A lot of people now, they go, it's the worst time ever to bring kids into the world. I think it's the best time ever. And I think it is that perspective. But a lot of mums, dads, whatever, I speak to dads as well. And a lot of times they go, well, Brock, it's nice for you, blah, blah, blah. You know, I've worked with really high selling real estate agents. I've worked with peak performers, people who got huge businesses, blah, blah, blah. And they go, it's nice for you, but I have this and I have this, make the excuses. So I'm always looking at what are the 5-minute habits that people can do, because I haven't had kids yet. I haven't had a, $20 million business yet. And all those different things, I'm just looking at that perspective, just looking at it as a coach, as someone that cares about people. Let's heartstorm it.
Yeah.
Let's come up with 5 things that people can do in 5 minutes, like little rituals that they can do that are going to make a big difference. Because that time when shit gets real, all of a sudden they're like, bam, the kids are going crazy, haven't slept in weeks, boobs are sore, whatever happens to be the case, all the different things.
All those things.
All these things I'm learning about it. No, it's like a whole new world.
A whole new world.
All these little, even expressing yourself, these things.
I know.
There's bras that you can put on here and they automatically just suck on your nipples.
Wow. Well, and then you can get the double express machine. You can sit on the lounge, like looking like a cow, like you're actually being milked. And
milk me, baby.
There's nothing like, I tell you, for people that are having, if you have like a baby later in your life there's nothing like built-in child contraception, like having a baby when you've got like I now have a 16-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 4.5-year-old, and he is my built-in contraception for them. They're like, there is no way. There's no way I'm having a baby until I get some stuff done in my life. But it's fine. It's all good. But rituals, what are 5 things? 5 things.
Yeah, let's give them.
That?
Yeah, let's give them some juice.
Got some.
Bam. Cool.
I got some. So, hydration.
Always, every call I'm always drinking. You guys watching, make a note. I'm always drinking on them. Boom.
You are.
Like that.
You are. And whether I speak to you on the telephone or whether I watch you on whatever, you are always drinking. You're always eating healthy food. So hydration, meditation, and I call it naturation, which I know is not a word.
What's that? Naturation.
Just go out in nature.
Oh, cool.
Those 3 things. Just simply to wake up, drink a glass of water, meditate, and go outside.
Perfect. Barefoot. My friends actually just did it. It's quite cool. Caught up with the men this morning. They just spent 3 days nude in nature.
Awesome.
I love it. Like, this is what I love about my friends. When I was 20, the guys would make fun of guys like that. At my age now, I think it's the best thing ever. And they're just going out, spending time in nature, laughing at each other's bodies and just rubbing themselves in mud. These are guys at a high level. Like if I said their name publicly right now, they wouldn't care. But it's quite funny. Both guys are super high level. They do rites of passage stuff for men. They do a whole other stuff.
And that's important. That's important. That comes back to that whole, allowing women to step into their femininity. And, it's important for men to have a rite of passage as well, but that will probably go on a different tangent. But it's so important, so important. And you live your whole life like that. And I know you encourage a community of people around you that can step into their masculinity in that way. And it's so important for young men, and it's really important, seeing as though we have a huge suicide rate, and our young boys are stressed out and they don't have any rite of passage. They don't have that ritual or that space to become the warrior that they are meant to be. And the innate in all men is that I need to take care of my woman, and I have to bring home the buffalo. I've got to bring home the bacon, and bring it's just in a part of it's part of your DNA. It's just how you are. And have a rite of passage, to be able to have that really sink in, and just to really crack open that warrior within in men is so important. And when that doesn't happen, that's when we get the wandering, spiritually orphaned people that are looking for something, don't know what it is, something's not right, can't work out why, they feel unhappy, they're not getting the answers, they're not seeing the truth, they're living an illusion, and they want to, there's got to be something more, and that's not provided. Well, it wasn't provided, but now it is so much more available, whether it be through people like you or I, or through schools, and it's a lot more available now, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But talking on the nude thing, my cousin Nikki Andronicus, she with her husband Paul McLean, he has had he's been living with cancer for a long time, and thriving with cancer for a long time, and they just did the naked skinny or something, yeah,
that event,
with Charlie Teo. So
fun.
Yeah, Nikki's on the motor. She going, come on. And I'm like, yeah, no. No way, because she's like really high profile, and I'm going to go with her. There's going to be people taking photos, and I'm like, no way. It's a bit different getting naked after a sweat lodge or something like that in your own retreat, compared to when there's cameras and people taking photos.
It's everywhere.
It's like you're talking about your high profile friends. I'm like, yeah, it's like I'm not going anywhere near my cousin on this naked out in public with her husband, although it's for a wonderful cause, and we do need to raise more money for brain cancer.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, they've got an incredible story that you would love to hear. But
love to hear it more, for sure. Connect me up.
Yeah.
Those things though, it's just funny even thinking about that, how much, when we're children, just run around naked. I joke every now and then at my house, if you ever come to my house, there might be a day where I skateboard nude through the house. Already done before. I've run out. It's just a fun thing to do. When you're like a little kid, you're like, ah! But ultimately, we have all this self-judgment and different things, and we're worried about that moment being captured and used in a silly way and affecting our brand and all that sort of stuff. And
I don't care about my brand. I just don't want to see it.
It's funny though, isn't it? Like just like work and all those things. Like when did that start? What is that like as kids? All those things. But yeah, it's a funny one.
But the thing is, I think a wonderful thing in life is just understanding who you are as a human being, and who your identity is as a human being, and who we are as a spiritual being, who we are as a the wiser self, the higher self is limitless, and it's ordinary and it's extraordinary, and it's just nameless, and it's omnipresent, and then it's nothing.
Yeah.
Who I am as a human being, like Christy Andronicus as a human who's like 39 years old, has 3 kids and lives in, on the North Shore in Sydney. She has a bit of a prude, Whereas you get my sister, she's amazing. She'd like, I remember, she was at this, where I was running a retreat with Michael Adam Reed's years ago. Have you met him? You should meet him. You would love him. He's amazing. And it was called the Elements Retreat. We had about 30 people there, and then one of the ladies that probably might end up watching this, I won't mention any names, she's like, I've always just wanted, and it was in Byron Bay, and there were beautiful green fields, and this is the one where we were doing the sweat lodge and blah blah, and she just said, I've always wanted to run through the fields naked. And then she's like, and I'm like, awesome, okay, so well, just why don't you go and do it then? Let's do it. And she's like, will you do it with me? I'm like, I'm not doing it, but someone will do it with you. And my sister's like, yep, I'm up, I'll do it. I'm like, go Sarah. And then they're just running around. It's the most beautiful thing to see 2 women just running around completely butt naked.
It's fun.
It was wonderful, and it was freezing. It was winter solstice. It was cold in Byron Bay. Like, it was cold, but it's a freeing and beautiful and amazing thing.
To have that liberation and freedom, it's not something I'm always going to do, but it brings me back to experience one of my events I ran with my friend Peter Dowson. It was called Sustainable Van, and we had We had eastern suburbs politicians there, all the way through to the world transforming hippies, you name it. And like, you know, a van full of people. And we went on this trip, and one of the ladies, I had to run all the way back to get the van, drove it back, and I got to the beach. Everyone had been for a swim except for one lady. She's like, well, and this could have gone either way. This is quite funny, actually. She goes, I don't have swimmers. So I went, well, ripped off my shorts. I had a knowing, and a lot of people don't trust their knowing. A lot of men, a lot of women, they don't trust their intuition. Could have gone either way. I'm always going to back myself. Doesn't always work out, but I'm always going to back myself. 1,000%, bang. And if I believe that if you're 1,000% committed, it just works. Because next thing, she's naked running in the water with me, like 2 7-year-olds having the best time ever. Yay, she's become a really good friend. She is now a world changer, doing amazing things around the world. And I don't know, sometimes these things break through people. And I even know some friends out.
Absolutely, they break through, whether it be that or whether it be sitting in a pool with ice cold, you know.
Boom.
It's like whether it be having a baby or whether it be, you know, there are so many ways to, and there can be just, and that's where miracles occur. It's just a simple shift in consciousness, and whether it be small or whether it be massive. And like just when we're talking about the 5 rituals that you can do each day to,
we've had 3 so far,
to live a healthier life. And I was like, so I'm like, what do I drank my water, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do a meditation, and it was pouring with rain. I love the rain. I love it. I love weather. I love life. I just love whatever the weather is. I just think it's beautiful. And I'm like, I'm totally just going to sit outside in the pouring rain and meditate.
Epic.
And I'm like, my intellect to it, my identity's like, take off your clothes, because then you're going to drip water all through the house. And I'm like, I'm just totally just going to sit in my clothes in the pouring rain in my yard and just meditate. And it was beautiful. It was just a beautiful thing to do. Like, that's what I mean. Like, just hydration. Well, that's hydration, definitely. And well, you know, also, you know, drinking water internally is, you know, very helpful, is key. But to meditate and to be out in nature. And we can make heaps of excuses of, you know, like every morning I've got to get kids to school and got stuff to do, and, you know, I'm busy, but you just make the time to, and even if it's just mindful driving and mindful, like drinking water whilst you're driving, and put your hand out the window to feel the wind in your hand, you know, like just connect in any way, like just make it so it is achievable each day. So there's no real rules around it. So there's no failing at it. It's just the remembering to drink water, to just be in awe of nature of some kind, and just get out in it, whether it's freezing cold or whether it's boiling hot, and just breathe deeply and just be present and just be happy to be alive in this very beautiful moment that we have.
I think it's cool there too, just to drop it in. You can make the choice right now that this is the best time ever to be alive, or whatever else you want it to be.
Absolutely.
You could choose right now, and you can have, like Christy just said a second ago, a shift in perspective by watching this call. Click. Wow, look at my life. It's amazing.
And it really can be that simple. You know, the worst, you know, you can have people that are going through the most difficult time in their life, and the only thing that can change it is by looking at it in a different way. Because the situation is going to be the situation. All they can change is how they choose to live through it, or how they choose to experience it. And so, you know, like I think it was Eckhart Tolle in one of his YouTube thing that I watched, he said you can either be miserable through an experience, or you can either accept it or you can enjoy it. And you can choose through each experience which one you would prefer to go through. And some people are permanently miserable. Some people are often in a place of acceptance, and other people just enjoy their life. And saying if you're going through something really, really difficult, it would probably be a little bit dissociated if you were enjoying something that was incredibly upsetting or horrible. That probably would not necessarily be so that's when we move to a place of acceptance. But we don't have to live a life of misery all the time. It doesn't have to be miserable. You can choose to be happy, and then it's okay for those, some people don't want to have an extraordinary life either. you know,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Everyone's different.
Yeah. And what is being extraordinary?
Yeah, I know. What definition we put on it that limits it?
Yeah. And like some people, you know, they have a life and they've got whatever they're doing in their life, and they don't necessarily want a business turning over $20 million. They don't necessarily want to travel the world, but they want to be happy and sit. And so that is defined, like happiness and success, and is defined. It's just that's the defining thing for different people, and it's just working out what that is for you. And you understand what that is for you. I understand what that is for me, and it's forever evolving and changing. And for people to work out for themselves that what is their you know, risk ratio, what is their happiness, what brings them, you know. And I think that our reaching our potential and being who we really are is not something that's outside of us, it's actually within us, and you're able to access it and connect with that at any time.
100%.
And once you crack that open, then you can tap into that. And then we forget, and then you've got to always be vigilant that our ego and our head and our mind is always going to keep us busy looking at bright shiny things or things that could go wrong. And but to always just do our best to, you know, bring it back to those three things. Like in the morning when you're drinking your water and you're doing your meditation and you're doing something out in nature, or just looking at nature if you can't get out there.
just get a picture out.
Yeah, or look out the window and just remember who we actually are outside of, you know, the skin and bones of this thing that, you know, our human body.
Wow.
So we're spiritual beings living in a physical body having a human experience, and just to remember that each day. So that could be the next part of the ritual, would be to remember that.
I like that. And then add in on there too, where's my attention right now?
Yes.
Just having that little thing on. Even as you said that story about the three elements though, before I was with a client who's beautiful, and in her life history, she showed up in my life, really grateful for her, and she's super grateful for me to be part of her life. It's been amazing. She's coming to the Bali retreat in July. I do some one-on-one stuff with her as well as being in groups, and she's lost both her men in her life. You know, she's 52.
Yeah.
As in they both died. And you know, she's going to be watching the replay. You know how much I love you, beautiful. And we shared a beautiful experience. I'm not going to say a name. It doesn't matter. I could. But ultimately, we had an experience where I drove about an hour to go and see her in Lismore.
Yeah.
And I got there and we spent a little bit of time having a coffee together. And she already had one. I had a couple of sips, just tried it. It was beautiful being present with each other.
Yeah.
And then we walked out all the way to this park until we found a majestic spot. And I lay her down. I had you know, those picnic mats.
Yeah.
I had that. I had a pillow, like a full magnetic, beautiful pillow, or the whole experience, and had it all set up so I could just be with her and do some of the energetic consciousness work that I do with people. Bless her, and it poured.
Beautiful.
Like, boom. It was just like crazy.
Yay!
We got absolutely soaked, and you should have seen us. It was like having an ice bath. We were just pumped. The stuff was so heavy, that pillow. I had to throw that pillow away. It was so fun. Probably like a $200 pillow. It's gone. Who cares? Like those moments.
That's just nature's best cleansing. Like that's just like bang. It's just like bang on. That's just the universe saying yes.
Yeah, and they're the gifts. They're the things I want to share most with people. That's why I came up with the moniker, the Lifetarian. We're about to end up the time that we have together today. So I want to ask you, you know, you've got 55 seconds to share something, your message with the world, even though we've already invested a little bit of time before this, but you got 55 seconds to share based on wherever you're at or the conversation we've had today or whatever it happens to be. But I just like 55 seconds because I've got a thing where my child's due on the 5th of the 5th. I've got a program called M55 and I was born 55 centimeters long, and there's a whole lot of other things too. I
love it. That's great. That's awesome.
Pay attention, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, 55 seconds. And if you guys have made it all the way to the end, give yourself a little pat on the back because you're awesome. You paid attention. Cool.
Yes, thank you for listening, and thank you for it. I'm honored. I'm honored to speak to you, Brock, and I'm honored to speak to Christy too. And I really, I can't wait. I'm so excited I love babies, and I love people that are having babies, and it's just so wonderful, like to watch this. You know, life is a miracle. Life is a miracle, and every day is a miracle. Every breath that we take is a miracle. And every day that we wake up is a miracle. And you can choose to have a miracle day, or you can choose to have an unconscious day where you don't notice the miracles that are happening in everyday life. And sometimes I choose to have a day where I'm completely unconscious. I'm stuck in my identity and I'm stuck in my head, and I'm just a complete pain in the ass to myself, and let alone the people around me. And other days I choose to remember that life is an absolute miracle. And whatever happens, you know, there is beauty in it, and there is pain, and then there is even beauty in the pain. And for you to be so caring for your client, to be there for her and sit with her through her pain, and that can be some of the hardest work to do for any human, is to be able to reach out to another human being and not know how to fix something or not know what to do, but just to sit with them in their pain. And I think that that is a beautiful thing too. That's a miracle in itself as well, is that miracles don't have to be all beautiful and amazing. It's, you know, it's anything that happens in life is just to be the observer and to just be as aware as possible. We're all human. We have to be remember the first rule in life is that we are actually human.
Yep.
And that does have, you know, its limitations. But the second thing is that we are actually connected to this infinite wisdom, this beautiful thing that is nameless, and it's everywhere, and it's omnipresent, and it's within us, and it's connected to everyone. And that itself is an amazing miracle. And it's also incredibly not boring and normal and zero. It's nothing as well. So yeah, I think that's just to be the observer and to just not freak out so much about shit. Just chill out, man. You know, like you get that in life, but it's just, yeah. I've learned as I've got older just to not worry so much about stuff, and just let things are going to work out how they want to work out. We can do all the manifesting and all the intention and however we like, but life is life, and things are going to happen outside of our control. And when those things happen outside of our control, just be the observer and just allow things to be how they are going to unfold. And I think that's a beautiful thing. When you come from that place, then nothing really, it just allows life to occur rather than you having to force it. And I think it's a lot less effort to live from that place than trying to force or control or manipulate things all the time, when it's really not really a lot that we had, you know, doesn't necessarily work. We can think it is all we like, but it doesn't necessarily work. But yeah, I just have chosen to live my life as a miracle, see it as a miracle, and everyone else's, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. And yeah, and just do my best to be happy with whatever's going on, and be there for people, and shine light on the potential in people rather than the problems, and shine light on the potential in my life rather than the problems and the fears, and do that for other people as well. I think that's important too. My daughter wanted me to mention, because we were talking about conscious parenting, she said, as a 16-year-old, I want you to mention this, Mum, that for parents to remember what they were like when they were young, and that being a part of being a kid is, you know, being able to work things out for themselves. And, you know, like that's one of the best things that, or I think a helpful thing that I've done with, I hope that we'll see, you know, when they're older and they'll give me a report back on my parenting and abilities, you know. And but I think one of the most amazing thing we can do as parents is just allow children to be the humans, the spirits that they're meant to be here, rather than what we feel or think that they are meant to be. You know, you could end up having a child that just wants to work at a 9-to-5 job, wear their clothes all day, every day, that, you know, and just that will, and how you just allow them to be able to do that. You know, it's just, life is so funny.
Yeah, that's what I said. It'd be so funny to Christy if we had a fat kid that wants to play PlayStation, eat donuts all day.
Totally.
I find it hard to imagine, but we'll see. I gotta finish up now. We can talk all day. It's been amazing. Yeah, if you want to find Christy, I'm going to leave some details below. make sure you send that through to me. I appreciate your time and your wisdom on this call. I know, yeah, a lot of human beings, a lot of mothers, a lot of fathers are going to appreciate it. Just people. There's so much. It's not just about being a parent. This is relevant to us all. Everything we shared today. Yeah, absolute blessing. Look forward to.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for thinking of me. Thank you. It's just so, I'm really blessed and really feel very honored. And I'm thinking of you guys. And it's just so exciting. There's a baby coming.
Oh, I'm pumped. But saying the blessing, let's put our hands out. Let's bless everyone that's made it all the way through this call. Let's bless each other. Let's bless Christy and the little baby coming through. And let's just bless the whole humanity right now. Because that's my philosophy I love to share with people. Look after yourself, look after your community, look after humanity. If you do that, you're going to have a pretty amazing life.
That's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. Thank you, Brock.
It's a pleasure. So I'm going to hang up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you for everyone that made it to the end. Like I said, give yourself a pat on the back. And if this inspired you, if this is something you want to connect, think of someone right now who it's going to benefit. Click the share button, put some comments below so people can really connect in with this. And I appreciate you guys. Lots of love.